How you doing? NascarVern here. I went to work the other day, and I saw the dispatcher, and he goes to me, "Hey, Vern, we're going Globo." I'm like, "What the heck? What's Globo?" He said, "Vern, we're going Globo." I'm like, "What is Globo, man? Is that a word?" And he's like, "Forget it. You're going down to Mexico with your truck." And I'm like, "No, I ain't." He's like, "Why not? Mr. Johnson said you're going." And I'm like, "I'm not, because I don't speak no Mexican." And he said, "Spanish." And I said, "I don't speak no Spanish either." So he pretty much understood, and he said, "You know what? They all speak English anyway, because they're all on their way up here, aren't they? Take our jobs." I said, "That's right, they are. So they have to know English, don't they?" So I figured, yeah, they must know English pretty good, better than my Mexican. So he said, "It'll be no problem. We're actually going to pay you extra to go down there for the extra risk." I'm like, "What kind of risk? Am I going to get like some Spanish people robbing the truck?" He said, "Maybe." I'm like, "Am I going to get kidnapped by some Spanish people?" And he said, "That's a possibility." I'm like, "You better pay me $12.50 an hour then." He said, "I'll ask Mr. Johnson and he'll work on it down in accounting." So I'm like, "All right." Plus, they were going to pay me extra for food, because he said you can't eat nothing in Mexico, or else you're going to get something called Monty Hall's revenge. So, and not only that, but you can't drink nothing either. So I had to stock up on water, of all things, When I'm at a truck stop, I just find the nearest hose, and I drink and drink and drink to my heart's content. But down there, you do that, man, you're going to be on the pooper for quite a long time. So I didn't want that. So I figured, all right, I'm going to go down to provision myself with some victuals at the Sheets. So I go down there, and I'm looking around. I'm getting chips and pork rinds and beef jerky and all kind of good stuff. And then I found the water, and they had these like 2-ounce squirt bottles that the girls drink in the offices. They're always slurping on those little things. And I'm like, "Hey, where are the barrels of water?" And they're like, "That's all we got." So I'm like, "How many of these things you got in the back?" Well, they had like 20 cases, and I said, "I'll take them all, bring them out to my truck, and put it on Mr. Johnson's bill." So I go to the counter to pay for it all, apart from the water, so putting on the count. And the girl's like, "Hey, how about you buy some bananas too?" Because they had these bananas on the counter. I said, "First of all, and you should know this about me, I don't eat no vegetables. And second, it ain't natural for a man to eat a banana. Get that into your head. No man should eat a banana. It's disgusting." So I get all my stuff in the truck, and I go to get my load, and then he's explaining me where I gotta go. He's saying, your final destination is a place called Alamos. And I'm like, "You idiot. Alamos is in New Mexico, not Mexico." And he's like, "No, man, that's Los Alamos. It's different." I said, "It's the same thing. What do you mean it's different?" Man, he's stupid. And he's like, "No, there's 2 cities. And I'm like, "Man, those Spanish people, they took our city too?" And he's like, No, they just have their own name." I'm like, "Oh, so they take all our names too, not only our jobs, but take all our names. Like, let's go to New York." "What do you mean, New York? New York? No. New York, Mexico. You know what I mean? Everything's going down there. So I'll get on my way, and it's quite a haul across the country. And it's, I didn't even touch the waters before I got, to Mexico. But when you get to the border crossing in Nogales, Arizona, there is this huge, like, toll booth complex kind of thing. But that's like immigration and custom. They have all these customs you gotta go through. And they x-rayed the truck. They x-rayed me. They made me open some of those water bottles and pour them out to prove there weren't nitroglycerin inside. They made me take off my shoes. I'm like, I ain't no terrorist. I'm an American. Can't you hear that? I'm not no Spanish-speaking Mexican person. And they're like, they kept calling me K. Like, K. I'm like, my name is Vern. It's not K. That's a woman's name. Don't call me that. They kept on calling me K, and I'm getting angry. I want to speak to your supervisor, and they're like, K. So I just thought they just, making fun of me or something. I did not like that at all. And that was my first, I think those guys were Americans, but they looked like Spanish people, And I don't know, it was just a weird experience. I finally got through. I just, I put an overdrive, and I left a lot of smoke out of 8-inch pipes in their faces. That's what I do.